Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to our channel. Thanks for logging on. If you love these videos, do me a favor and subscribe to our YouTube channel right here at Watchbox Reviews. I would really appreciate it, and I promise to update daily. If you love this watch, you can see it and you can purchase it on our website, thewatchbox.com. And today, we are discussing the 2017 to present Lange Sohne Lange Daymatic, essentially a day-date complication with automatic winding in a 39.5mm white gold case. Launched at SIHH 2017, this model was an update to the original 2010 Lange Daymatic, and the updates principally relate to the color of the dial, which is now blue galvanized. You'll also note all of the 2015 revisions to the Lange carryover, specifically more delicate, nuanced dial details and a less visually heavy bezel. On my 16cm circumference wrist, this is a handsome piece, traditionally sized. 39.5mm is the perfect size for a modern men's dress watch without straying into the realm of full-size or oversized dimensions. Neither is it a thick watch. As you can see, the timepiece measures a wonderfully compact 10.6mm thick with a domed and sloped case flank to slide under a cuff. From lug to lug, bigger perhaps than a mid-century dress watch, but nicely constrained at 47.9mm. I can recommend this size and this specific watch for a wrist as small as 13.5cm circumference. 47 and change is very compact by modern standards. The spacing between the lugs, 20mm, so the watch will take a wide range of popular 20mm straps. That's a fairly general strap size. You will have many options. And you can see that the strap that's fitted should probably be your first option because it's beautifully made. With a large rectangular scale alligator leather, a combination of monotone stitch, a folded edge. It's not bolstered, so it's nice and slim like the watch itself, with a natural calfskin on the underside. And you can see this is a new Lange factory strap. The buckle is a handsome piece, white gold. It features a little bit of a faceting on the side with a bevel on its transition to the hood. Lange, of course, and then internally, two features I love. First, the raised bridge over the two stanchions, so you can see how the strap sits inside the buckle rather than stacking up on the wrist. And then there's a retention bar, and the whole idea here is if you're like me with a small wrist and you're going to buckle it down to its smallest aperture on the other side, sometimes the strap gets stuck on the pin of the buckle when it's buckled tightly. Well, this retaining bar prevents the strap from getting pinned on the pin, so to speak, so you can easily extricate it if you do happen to have a small wrist. Much appreciated. Classical Lange case profiling. You can see polished bezel, polished case back, satin finished flank. The lugs are stepped out. They are all of high polish with a small transitional bevel. They have their own sculptural volume and presence that's set out from the case. It's the opposite of a blended lug Calatrava or Portuguese profile. And then you can see that there's even a curvature to the pusher adjuster for the panorama date, and the pusher adjuster has both beveling on its flanks and a contrast between satin on its side and polish on its tops and underside. The watch is beautifully detailed like that, full of nuance. The dial is rife with it. It is a galvanized sterling silver disc, so the dial is made of solid silver. There is a matte, almost frosted blue galvanized color. You can see recesses for the constant seconds as well as the hours and the minutes. There is a day scale for the day-date complication over at the 9 o'clock side, and I'll roll it through the day-date change. You'll appreciate that it is both a panorama or big date and a retrograde day, both features being particularly fun. There's a pusher adjuster so you can adjust the day indication independently of the date, and then there's a pusher adjuster for the date that has the same tactile satisfaction in its operation as a fine column wheel chronograph, so it's got a little bit of datograph in it. All of the indices, the Roman numerals, the hands, and the aperture for the date are white gold, so over time they will not tarnish or dim, and the watch is loomed so there will be a loom shot. Note that the caliper has stop seconds, and turn it all over and enjoy that caliper. Let's see how close we can get without losing sharp resolution. Now, this is a movement that is entirely hand decorated, and it starts with the rotor. Note that you have both a 21 karat hand engraved winding mass, and then outboard you have a platinum mass. So it is a rotor that has mass of its own, but outboard the ultimate mass of precious metal with platinum. So it is a double precious metal rotor with the outer portion joined to the inner portion using blued fired screws, and the cap at the center is black polished. It does not get any better. Glasuta stripes across the bridges. You can see there's a black polished cap to the escape wheel and a black polished swan's neck fine adjustment mechanism. All of the screws for the most part are blued, though there are a few black matte polished screws. You can find them at center as well as the case clamp screws at the periphery, and you will also appreciate the use of engine-turned perlage around the circumference of the movement. There is mirrored anglage. I need to find the German words for all these French, Swiss watchmaking terms, but you can see there's a mirrored edge to every bridge, so it has that optically smooth hand-laid chamfer that you would expect from haute de gamme watchmaking in general. What it has that you might not expect on standard haute de gamme is a freehand engraved half bridge for the balance, and you can see that to good effect. No two are exactly alike. These are done by hand. The wonderful floral and banknote motifs, a theme that runs constantly through Lange's modern history since the 90s, but again, every watch effectively a piece unique because of them. Note that the jewels, in many cases, are fixed in screw-located chatons in the fashion of a vintage pocket watch, and Lange's strength from the 1840s through the 1940s, really before the collectivization under the communists, was pocket watches. You can also see that there's a three-quarter style bridge to the movement itself, and although these are separate bridge components that are separated for ease of maintenance, the form of the three-quarter bridge is present and correct. Again, a nod to the pocket watch era. The alloy that's used, you can see it has a golden hue. It's nickel copper zinc. It's often known as German silver. It's a little bit more delicate to work with, but it's also highly anti-corrosive, so it does not need to be rhodium plated like Swiss brass. Finally, the movement itself, the L0211, automatic winding. It features a 21/6 beat rate. It's adjusted in 5 positions like a chronometer. It's robustly jeweled with 67 jewels total. It features stop seconds, and you can see that when I stop the seconds, it has a free-sprung balance to take a precise regulation in those 5 positions and also resist shock-induced timing deviation. Ultimately, the automatic winder features 30 meters water resistance, and it will run for 50 hours. Its power reserve is 50 hours. You can see this one, and you can throw it on your wrist on the watch box. The Lange One Daymatic.